Greetings and welcome to Flavourful Eats. Today we're revisiting biryani, a little simpler, a little quicker with my guest Patrick. Patrick was very interested to know how to do this and we're doing a quicker version.
That's good.
Right, so you're going to be starting with it, right? So you're going to show us our ingredients?
Yeah, so you'll have to help me a little bit if I mess anything up, but we have our already chopped onions over here, tomato, which I'll be chopping, and then some spices over here, some garlic.
We had 3 cloves of garlic and a little piece of ginger that will go in our,
yep.
and a little
then
green
a pepper,
chili.
which you said should be make for a pretty
mild,
hot but
so
mild,
this is a mild
right?
one, yes.
Which is awesome for me because that's what I like from this kind of a dish. We have our rice that's been soaking. Is that the basmati
Yes,
rice?
it's a basmati rice.
Mixed vegetables, peas, carrots, and green beans.
This time we're using a frozen variety to speed up the process of cleaning.
Yep. And we've got our oil over here, our dry spices and chili powder, and this
Ghee, clarified
ghee,
butter.
right. How could I not remember ghee after all these times? All right. And then we've got our sprouted lentils over here.
Sprouted green lentils, which normally we'd use regular lentils, but the reason we're using sprouted because it'll cook quicker.
Okay.
This cooks in half the time of lentils already cook quickly, but this cooks even quicker. And then we have some greens there, which is curry leaves, mint, cilantro.
Right. Yes.
Right. And then for our next dish, we're doing a cucumber and kefir.
Yes.
As to cool the things down in case it's too hot.
Oh, great.
And then with that, we'll be putting some cumin also.
Right.
So without taking too much of time, let's get started. And then we're going to add like 2 tablespoons of oil, not too much. That's way too much in there.
So I'm going to sort of eyeball this.
Yes.
Just be a couple tablespoons.
Yes. Just to coat the bottom of the pan so your onions don't burn.
The first thing that's going to go in it are the dry spices, but they're already more or less prepared over here. So I believe I'm going to be chopping a tomato, and then we're also going to grate our
ginger and garlic. Patrick didn't give the names of it. This is fennel seeds, this is bay leaves, this is cloves, this is cinnamon, this is a type of ilachi, and this is another type of ilachi. I just brought 2 varieties. Everything is optional. None of it need to be added in. If you just have cinnamon sticks, you're just good enough to just do the cinnamon. If you just have, you don't have to have all of this combination in order for it to be a great dish.
Okay, great. Forgive me if I forget the names yet again.
Yes. So this is cardamom. Yeah.
A couple of these guys.
And you can just drop that one down. Yeah, this is a little too many, but
this and the bay leaf.
yes.
Both,
you only need 2 or 3. We don't need this many, but it's done there. Okay, can you see it's popping now? It's ready for your onion. It's ready for the onion.
All right. So I'm going to take all this onion here.
You're smelling it already?
Yep.
All
I can always smell it when I'm on the other side of the
Do you want to?
both this part
Yes.
of the onion as well?
Yes. This quantity of onion should do too, but it'll make this a little sweeter. Add a little more flavor. Do you like lots of onion?
Yeah.
So yeah, you should be good at that. All right, so while this is frying, Patrick is going to be cutting his tomato. And while he's doing that, I'm going to use the microplane. And like I said, I just needed a small piece of ginger.
Microplane. I'm glad I'm learning so many new words today. This is going to be useful for me.
It's admirable that Patrick is so interested in cooking. So you are mostly a vegetarian?
Yes.
For health reasons or ethical reasons?
Yeah, mostly ethical. I mean, I do know that, it just seemed like, especially in terms of red meat and pork, people recommend against it, for like a variety of health reasons. Can I ask you a question? Do you have any tips for chopping this so that it loses less juice than what I'm currently using?
Well, that particular variety of tomato which came from the garden is absolutely juicy, so I don't think there's any other thing you could do to...
It just seemed like so much that it made me fear I was doing something terribly wrong.
No. I don't think there's any right way or wrong way to do those things. Yeah. The important thing is to keep an eye on it and stir it as needed. I like it to cook a little bit more.
Okay.
And the way to speed this also is to put salt.
Oh, really? Why does salt?
Salt actually helps to, if you really want a good caramelized onion, you put salt, it actually caramelizes well, and it just seems to go faster.
Yeah. So at what point do I know that it's been caramelized?
Well, in this case, you're looking for it to be soft, and the onion to be cooked. And can you see
So
it's a little bit?
how much give?
Can you see it's a little bit translucent?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you start adding it from now, it's all right. But if you wait for it to cook a little more, then it's not so visible when you're eating it. You know what I'm saying? And then, you pick up all these whole spices before you serve. Yeah, so at this stage, you can add in your ginger and garlic.
Okay, great. So the whole thing?
Yes. Okay. It's going to be maybe half.
All right, that's only half.
You only put the
chili, though. You want the other half of that?
You want to put more garlic. You only put the ginger there.
Oh.
Actually, go ahead and change, because I think you like the taste of ginger and garlic, right?
Yeah. Yep, I do. Yeah, I was...
And in winter, this is very good because anytime, ginger actually helps you with digestion. And garlic is a good, if you have a cold and you add garlic to it also, you help to fight bacteria. So there's a lot of cleansing, digestive things that's happening in this pot right now.
And it's delicious.
Yes. And now you want to add a little bit of your chili powder.
Okay.
And you don't like it hot, so I would think, I would think a level teaspoon of that will work. Yeah, I think that should be good. It's going to be mild.
Cool. Yeah, I think I've told you before the difference between, I love your biryani every time I've had it.
You want to bring the whole board maybe over?
Sure.
I can help you there.
Oh yeah, now we've got all that juice that I squeezed out of it too.
So what I like to do is generally just cook down that tomato a little bit, so that you're salivating already.
Like squishier.
Yes. So if you want to chop up some of the mint, you may for the biryani. If you like that flavor. And what we forgot to do is, I normally would like to put these curry leaves. These are curry leaves. This is actually from my neighbor's garden. Oh. Fresh curry leaves. So if you want to chop this finely, I normally like putting this in the oil also. So now we're missing smell-o-vision, right?
Yes. It is wonderful. Oh, very good.
Okay, if you can see, it's just the tomatoes is just about done.
Okay. Oh yeah, they look totally different now.
They look totally different. So I normally like to add the herbs towards the end.
Okay.
The cilantro and the...
So I won't add, so maybe I'll just leave this out. I shouldn't have chopped this then. Maybe I'll leave it out to the side for now?
Yes, you leave it to the side. And I typically break the leaves and then chop it. Take the leaves out.
Makes a lot of sense.
And then, if you want to propagate mint at your home, you take a little glass of water and place this into the water. And in no time, you'll find that the leaf starts coming up again, and you'll find roots coming up. And you take that and you plant into your garden. Can you see your tomatoes already?
Yes.
So, do you want to put in the lentils?
It already smells very, very good. Yes, I do.
Yes.
All right. Whole thing?
Yes. There's a cup of lentils there.
Okay. So what are you looking for when you're putting that much water in?
Just to cover the lentils.
Okay.
So because this is quick cooking lentils, I'm going to be adding everything together this time round. So that's given a quick boil.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to put this.
What do you these?
This is just frozen vegetables.
You find too, though, like green beans.
I don't particularly like putting corn in them, but
is that personal taste, or do you think there's something?
I don't feel like it goes with the dish.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you feel like you want a little bit of corn,
can I mix it around?
Yes,
a
yes, and you need to add in that. And we soaked in the rice only because, again, it's to cook quickly.
Okay, do you mind me reaching through and
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Stirring. And now we need to add salt.
I can scoop this out through here too. Yeah, I do love the texture of this dish. It's very comforting, and I don't know. I don't have the right words to describe it, but it's fulfilling. It's I don't know. It's wholesome and nice to eat. And
well, it's everything in one, right? You have your protein, your carbs, your it's everything. It's a nutritious meal all in one. All your nutritional requirements is in this one dish, including some digestive enzymes with your spices.
So what ingredient of this, is it the lentils that be the most like calorically dense?
I would think the rice.
Oh, the rice. Yeah.
What would you do? Don't you think so? And now I'm putting in the ghee.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like 2 tablespoons. Okay. All, again, you don't have to do this. This is all just to enhance the taste.
Yes.
You could put, if you're a vegan, you can put coconut oil. You don't need to use ghee. Well, this biryani is still cooking. As you can tell, it's like halfway through. We have it on low so that the flavors all amalgamate nicely, right? So just a reminder, we used green-sprouted green lentils, so it went a bit quicker.
Yes.
Right? And the next thing you wanted to do is a cucumber dish.
Yes, which we've already skinned the cucumber.
Right.
And
This happened to be a garden variety. So with that, what I normally would do is to peel it like you've already done, and then I cut the ends. When I cut the end, I don't know what you do. I'm just taking over. I'm sorry. I know.
No, it's okay. I usually compost it if I have.
Yes, but I do this.
Handy.
Apparently, if it is slightly bitter, this rubbing of this thing removes the bitterness.
Oh, really?
That's what I was told. I'm not sure this. And then you use a fork. I don't know why they do this, but this is something that our family's always done it. For me, it may look a little bit decorative when you do that.
Yeah.
You know, you're just scraping off the cucumber.
Oh, yeah,
And then if you do little rings, then you're going to find like, you know, a little decorative edge. And the reason we're using cucumber is it cools in case this is a little bit too spicy. Yeah, and I would do it even. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. This is how if I had to chop it, this is what I would do. I would go this way.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I mean, not right through, but
quarter it and then do all of those.
Right, and then slice it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
I didn't think I was giving you a lesson, but
this whole episode is a lesson for me. That's why I'm happy to be here. You're being very patient with me, having me on here to cook, and I'm learning a lot of chopping. And some of these are things that I always end up relearning, and then if I don't really chop vegetables.
So the way to do it is to put your fingers, making sure your fingers are inside so you don't chop your fingers.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to do that. Inside of what?
You hold them like this.
Like
over
that?
Yes.
Like that?
Okay. Well, I'm hoping to get a guest to help us train everybody in the use of knives.
So far, I don't think we've had any visits from the ambulance yet for this show.
Oh, because we've taken care of it by ourselves. We had an incident or two.
Oh.
Yes, but we had Band-Aid that didn't.
Yeah, first aid kit is great.
Yes. Sprinkle salt. And then just a sprinkling of cumin, you know. Cumin is a...
Yeah, cumin's powerful stuff.
Yes, it's very, very good for digestion too. So just a couple drops of it. I guess if you want the camera to pick it up, you need to show it the other way around.
All right, is that good? Do you think a little more?
Just a wee bit more. There you go.
Okay.
A little more liberal. And then chop up some nice, you can put both cilantro and mint.
And chop it kind of all at once?
No, not that quantity.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit here?
Yes.
Just what I did there. Okay.
That bit. I like using a scissors, but if you prefer doing that, that's good. Make sure it's nice and fine because it's going to be going in that one.
Oh, it's going to be just eaten that.
Right.
So we don't want it to be.
So again, we're working on our microbiome. So we're using kefir, which is a cultured, unsweetened kefir. That's, I mean, if you use yogurt, it's good for your microbiome too.
It's like a probiotic kind of thing?
It is a probiotic. It is a type of a probiotic. But make sure you got the It's like yogurt,
yeah,
right?
very yogurt texture there. It looks just like that.
It's more like
It's almost a little looser.
thick buttermilk.
Yeah.
It's like thick buttermilk.
All right, so I can sprinkle?
Mm-hmm. Anything you use buttermilk, you can use this too. So when you do things with lots of love like this, you know it's going to be good for you.
Yes. Oh, it smells lovely.
That's a meal on its own.
Yeah, it looks like a great, like, you know, it's August now. Well, September, the episode, but it's, this seems like nice, hot weather, kind of.
This
cool,
is definitely
sort of
cooling, yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Almost like you could almost put it like in a picnic. You could almost grow almost this whole thing by yourself.
We're eyeballing it, but I think we might have used like 3/4 cup.
3/4 cup of the
Yes, yes,
pepper.
to 1 little cucumber. Do you want to taste?
I do want to taste, yes.
Think it needs more salt, more cumin, more mint.
It's very minty. It's
Yes.
very, very, very tasty. I don't know. I think it's good just the way it is, personally.
Okay. There you go. It looks like it's ready.
Wow. So there's...
See, by the time it took you to cut that, this is ready.
Well, perfect then.
To see whether you need more salt or if you put too much salt, you may just see that's
very, very hot.
So in the last episode, you would have seen it a little more red because I added more chili.
Yeah.
Here it's very little
It's
chili.
the milder Patrick version.
A very mild version. And that's very hot and you're trying to put it in your mouth.
Temperature-wise, it's hot, yes. The spice-wise, it's very yummy.
Yummy.
Yeah, I like that.
So do you want to chop up this mint and this cilantro and put it in there? This
in
don't
the Breyani?
yes. You can put all the mint, all the cilantro, but not the mint because mint, as you can tell, is overpowering. So you just need a little bit. Okay, so this is our rice done in less than, this actually I timed it and it was in 13 minutes flat, it was all done.
Wow.
And the lentils are cooked, right?
Yeah.
And the rice is cooked?
Yeah, everything was like exactly what I was hoping for as far as that like texture and consistency.
And the cilantro in this one actually helps. Lots of cilantro is actually very good to help to detox. It's a metal detox. So we have a very healthy, wholesome dish here.
Yeah.
Which
it almost makes it sound like something where it's like if you were recovering from like a cold or some kind of like anything where you feel under the weather, it'd be
comforting.
Yeah.
The other thing is somebody that's trying to stay away from fats altogether. It's not a bad thing. Instead of oil to get your onions fried,
yes,
you could use a little bit of water.
Now, is this a fairly low-fat meal, or is it?
It's
got the
fairly. When you think of that quantity, you only use like literally less than a tablespoon, I think, when the time you poured it in.
Yes.
Or just about that amount. And we used, it was about less than 2 tablespoons of ghee. So in this whole dish, you have 3 tablespoons of fat. The vegetables we use barely has any fat.
Yeah.
The rice doesn't have fat. And rice has some protein. Lentils have some protein. Rice has some B vitamins. So, it's got everything in there.
I feel
so
like I'm
that's
making
good.
this almost a mush.
Right, go ahead. Put it in. Perfect.
I have a little more I can put in there too. Otherwise, at a certain point, it really does run together, and but we don't want to do it too much.
Okay, so we do one quick stir.
Okay.
That's our completed dish. The rice is all individual. It's not mushy or anything. We just stir it up like that. And you can see there's no water or anything. It's just ready to eat.
Yes. Yeah, you really don't see the tomatoes either, huh?
That's why I try and cook it as much as possible, the tomatoes and the onion.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then if you bite into it and you've got one of the hard spices, that's just lucky, I guess. And then
Well,
you spit it out.
you take the spices out before you serve.
Okay.
Yeah. So Patrick, you've done a wonderful job today. This looks delicious.
Well, I don't really take much credit for it. It was all your instruction, but thank you for teaching me.
No, you've done a great job. And so that's the biryani, which we use our sprouted lentils and frozen vegetables, and we cooked it within 12 minutes because I timed it while we were working.
Yeah.
So
not bad at all.
no, not bad at all for a Labra dish of this sort,
Yeah.
which is nutritious and good for your family.
Yep.
And then you may want to serve yourself a little bit to see what it tastes like.
I would love that.
And if you notice, by the time you cut that and chop that up and put that together, this was ready.
Yes, yeah.
And this is our yogurt and cucumbers. And it's always good to start your meal with some fruit, so therefore we have some cantaloupe.
Yeah, I like cantaloupe for that too. It's
Right,
it's a nice
and
choice.
I always prefer having fruit before my meals.
As a digestion aid?
I would prefer that. With all the protein and all that, it takes a little longer to digest, whereas this takes quicker to digest, so it goes through quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like some of this too?
No, you go ahead and let me
All
know
right.
what you thought.
Take a big bite of it.
It's hot, I know that.
That's awesome. That was really, really good.
So how, do you have a description for everything, like the way you can taste it from what you tasted
Perfect.
before and now?
Well, it tastes like the kind of biryani that I've had before that I really like, which is milder, because I don't do a lot of spice very well. I've had it in restaurants, and it's overpowering spice for me. There's a nice texture that goes with the rice and the lentils. Nothing is particularly hard.
Yes, and sprouted lentils actually adds more value to the thing. It helps break, for people it's hard to digest legumes, that's the easier way for your body to digest the legumes too.
Oh, and they're sprouted.
When they're sprouted,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a simple addition. That's just kefir and cucumbers that you put together.
This was so simple and so good.
Yes.
Can I try a bite of it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, put it in your, we normally
Oh,
put
I
it in
put it
your
in here?
rice, yes.
I didn't even think of that. So I
Yes,
just...
put it there and you have it, it's to cool it down.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Wonderful.
there you go.
All right.
From Flavourful Eats, always get us on Flavourful Eats.
Flavorfuleats@gmail.com.
Yes. YouTube, ActonTV.org.
Yes, ActonTV.org.
Any comments or you want a recipe, write to flavorfuleats@gmail.com, FLAVOUR,
Yes.
FULEATS. And thank you, Patrick, for joining me on this good journey.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. This
And
was great. I'm going to be making this a lot.
I'm glad you're enjoying what you've cooked for yourself.
Me too. I'm
That's
glad
most
it's shown
important.
that. I'm sure I'll run into more hiccups by myself, but just having this experience of doing this with you, I'm very confident I can recreate this.
Well, you have the show to look at,
Yeah, exactly.
to follow. With that, anytime, you're welcome to join us at flavorfeeds@gmail.com, YouTube, ActonTV.org. And Patrick, thank you, and your host, Hamsa Naidu. Bye-bye, till we meet again.
Okay, cool.
So,